you are undoubtedly aware of the Caitlin Clark effect. Since joining the league, the Indiana guard has generated considerable excitement among fans and sponsors. With large audiences, additional sponsors, and heightened visibility, there is an abundance of essential coverage for women's sports. While Clark continues to set records off the court, enticing opportunities keep arising, yet her focus remains solely on the WNBA. However, this may soon change, as significant developments regarding the Unrivaled League could redirect her attention. The 3x3 League announced on X their new sponsors, in addition to Ally Financial. Unrivaled has unveiled a multi-year sponsorship with State Farm, designating them as our exclusive home and auto insurance sponsor, as well as the presenting sponsor for the eagerly awaited club selection announcement, scheduled for release this Wednesday, November 20th, the official page stated. State Farm's sales and marketing officer Kristen Cook emphasized, sponsoring Unrivaled presents another opportunity for State Farm to enhance our enduring commitment to women's sports. The $134 billion company aims to promote women's basketball. One player who could significantly enhance it is Caitlin Clark. However, when inquired about her interests, CC clearly stated she had other priorities. "Honestly, I'm just focused on this right now," Clark said, referring to her responsibilities with the WNBA franchise when reporters asked her if she would participate in the venture. "Let's focus on one thing at a time," the 22-year-old stated. "One cannot simply move on to the next. My focus remains right here." However, there is a caveat. State Farm also has an agreement with the Indiana Star. The practice of securing sponsorship by signing with a team or organization is common in sports. Consider the case of Messi's long-term sponsor, Adidas, which began its partnership with him in 2006. In 2017, they ultimately converted the contract into a lifetime agreement. Most notably, the sportswear giant has been a significant partner of MLS, providing kits for its teams since 1996. Does this imply that she might also receive a similar arrangement? After all, Unrivaled has expressed interest in her. When the news about Unrivaled was announced, there was widespread interest in whether Caitlin Clark, the 2024 Rookie of the Year, would be involved, including from podcaster Pablo Torre. Consequently, the host asked his guest, former ESPN president and Unrivaled investor John Skipper, about this on his podcast, Pablo Finds Out. In light of Clark's significant popularity, Skipper stated, "If you were starting a new league, which we are, the most impactful scenario in the first game would be the presence of Caitlin Clark on the court." He also mentioned that discussions with Clark are ongoing, but no agreements have been reached. The league is scheduled to commence in January with 6 teams in Miami, and an expected 40 players will take part in the 3x3 competition. Included in this group are Kelsey Plum, Aliyah Copper, Jackie Young, Clark's on-court rival Angel Reese, and the talented future draft pick Paige Bookers. This seems to be an exceptional opportunity to make a significant impact. The league's founders, Nafisa Collier of the Lynx and Brianna Stewart of the Liberty, also announced that players will receive salaries in the six-figure range. In a recent episode of Podcast P with Paul George, Collier was inquired about Clark's status regarding any potential deal. The Lynx star remained private about her situation, merely suggesting that the figure would be substantial if proposed. However, nothing appeared to distract Clark's focus until now. Perhaps what others could not achieve, State Farm can bring to fruition. The Indiana Fever's 2024 playoffs may have concluded after 2 games, but Caitlin Clark anticipates more extended postseason pursuits for her team in the future. "It's a good little taste of what's possible for this organization and for this franchise," Clark remarked to reporters following the Fever's elimination loss to the Connecticut Sun on Wednesday in Game 2, as reported by ESPN's Andrea Adelson. "There is much for us to be proud of. This team achieved victory in 5 games 2 years ago. We are a relatively young and inexperienced team, yet we united and enjoyed playing together immensely. Sometimes the most difficult aspect is when you feel you're truly playing your best basketball, and then it comes to an end." Clark added, "The exciting part is that I feel I'm only beginning to tap into my potential, and I tend to examine every little detail of my performance. I am committed to enhancing this franchise, supporting my teammates' development, and I recognize there is significant potential for my own improvement. That is what excites me the most. I believe there is still substantial room for my improvement, and before long, I am confident that we will all be back here, prepared for the upcoming season. Despite establishing a WNBA playoff rookie record with 25 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists, Clark could not lead her team to victory on Wednesday night as Alyssa Thomas and the Suns secured the opening round series with an 87-81 win at home. This abbreviated postseason experience nonetheless signified noteworthy progress for a team that had missed the playoffs for 7 consecutive seasons before selecting Clark first overall in the 2024 draft. Guided by Clark and 2 other former high draft selections, including the 2018 number 2 selections, Kelsey Mitchell and 2023 No. With the first overall pick of Aliyah Boston, the Fever achieved 20 wins, marking their return to a .500 season record for the first time since 2016. Led by its young stars, the Fever faced challenges related to inexperience throughout the season, as evidenced by Clark's playoff debut in Sunday's Game 1 against the Sun. The loss escalated into a blowout in the second half, with Clark struggling from beyond the arc, converting only 2 of 13 three-point attempts, and finishing with 11 points in the 93-69 defeat. In Game 2, the Fever once again found themselves trailing by 9 points heading into the fourth quarter, but a late offensive surge from Clark helped the visitors take the lead with 4 minutes remaining. However, veteran wnba responded by pushing the Sun back ahead, and late fouls committed by the Fever allowed Connecticut to secure a series of free throws that effectively ended the elimination game. The Sun is now set to face the Minnesota Lynx when the WNBA semifinals commence on Sunday. Meanwhile, the Fever will enter the offseason with Clark, who is signed through 2027, and Boston, who is locked in through 2026, forming the young core of a playoff contending team for the next fall. The most pressing offseason question for Indiana will revolve around the expiring contract of Mitchell, who tied with Clark for the team lead with 19.2 points last season and is likely to attract considerable interest during free agency. If the Fever can negotiate a deal to retain the 28-year-old guard in Indiana while leveraging this winter to enhance depth around Boston and Clark, the team may be positioned for a deeper postseason run in 2025. The Indiana Fever announced on Sunday that they will be parting ways with head coach Christy Sides. "We are incredibly thankful to Coach Sides for embracing the challenge of leading us through a crucial transition period over the last 2 seasons while also positioning us well for future growth," said Kelly Krauskopf, president of basketball operations. "While decisions like these are never easy, it is essential that we remain bold and assertive in pursuing our goals, which include maximizing our talent and bringing another WNBA championship back to Indiana." Coach Sides was an exceptional representative of the Fever and our community, and we wish her all the best in her future endeavors. Sides led the Fever to a 20-20 record in their first playoff appearance since 2016 this season. Despite the team's success, the Fever indicated her departure by considering potential replacements even before her exit was official. Annie Costabile of the Chicago Sun-Times reported on Wednesday that Connecticut Sun head coach Stephanie White was attracting interest from Indiana. White played for the Fever for 4 seasons and subsequently served as the team's coach in 2015 and 2016, leading them to the WNBA Finals in 2015. She is well acquainted with the franchise. Her stock has reached an all-time high following the Connecticut Sun's impressive 55-25 record under her leadership over the past 2 years. Reacquiring White in Indianapolis would signify a substantial achievement for the franchise and demonstrate its ambition. However, the manner in which she was courted and ultimately hired may reignite concerns that the front office remains unable to navigate effectively, despite the appointment of a new general manager, Amber Cox. The fact that Sides was dismissed shortly after leading the team to the postseason illustrates the significant shift in the perception of the Fever. During its 7-year playoff drought, Indiana recorded a single-digit win total on 5 occasions. A series of lottery selections resulted in minimal value and lacked a long-term strategic vision. The dynamic changed with the selection of Aliyah Boston at number 1 overall selection in 2023. Boston was an all-star and the unanimous Rookie of the Year in her debut season, representing the cornerstone that the Fever had been missing for years. Winning the 2024 draft lottery further accelerated the rebuild, allowing them to select Caitlin Clark. Clark overcame a slow start to meet her lofty expectations. She averaged 19.2 points, 5 7 rebounds, and 8.4 assists, establishing numerous league and franchise records. The joint present